Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Guys, the Premier League is officially back. We've all been waiting for this day. And what a great way for Manchester United to kick off the new campaign. We've secured a 1-0 victory at home against a very decent Fulham team. What more can I ask for? These first few matches at the start of every season are very tricky. Obviously, some of the players are still returning back from their vacations, their condition, their fitness level is not yet at the peak. So all that matters at the start is to get the 3 points. We managed to win against Wolves last season as well, but if you remember, that was a terrible performance to say the least. But today, we were much better. We were much more in control. We dominated the game for most parts, and we were the deserving winners. So today in this video, we will analyze the performance of each one of our players. I'll give them a player's rating. We'll also look at the overall condition of the squad. We'll analyze if it needs to be strengthened in any area and what our expectations should be from this Manchester United team going into the new season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So guys, we'll start off with Andre Onana in goal. Now, Onana obviously has taken his time to settle in, but he got a fair few clean sheets last season as well. And now with time, he's becoming more and more consistent. So he has put forward another solid display. He didn't have to do too much in this game, but whenever he was required, he obliged. Whenever called upon, he made some great saves. I can recall one that he made in the first half from that Tate shot from outside the box. Now, that was a screamer that was destined to land in the top left-hand corner, but Onana got a hand to it, made a very decent save. His passing is always good. He's very decent with his foot today. Even with his long throws, he was very, very good. So I'd say, yeah, a solid start. All I need from Onana is to now keep his focus on the game, focus on the pitch, stop giving statements off the field that's just generating some unnecessary attention, which we can do without. But anyway, coming back to this game, I'd give him a 6 out of 10 rating for this match. Now let's move on to the defense. We'll start off with our right back, who's also our new signing, Noussair Mazraoui. Now guys, I'll be honest, I always expected this guy to contribute in attack because he is a modern day footballer, very comfortable on the ball, press resistant, going good, going forward, he's always going to be good. But I had my doubts about him defensively. Today, I saw him very closely, and I have to say he really has impressed me. Some of his tackles were elite. His positioning was class. He was not looking like someone who's playing his first match in the Premier League. He gave a very mature display. I can't be happier, and I think we've got a real player on our hands if we manage to keep him fit. In this match, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 rating. Now let's move on to the centre backs. So obviously Harry Maguire and Lisandro Martinez played as the two centre backs. Maguire, I have to say, has been ever so consistent since the last season, and he's continued his good form into this season as well. Last season for me, he was our best centre back. And again, in this match, he was top class. Obviously, he's got his limitations. He's not one of the speediest players out there. But today, his positioning was really good. He won everything in the air. He was really dominant. One in particular instance I can remember where Fulham were 2-on-1 against Harry Maguire because of that Lisandro Martinez mistake, and that interception basically saved the goal. So Harry Maguire, I would say, is one of the contenders for the man of the match in this particular game. Played 80 minutes. I would give him a 7.5 out of 10 rating in this match. Let's move on to Lisandro Martinez. Now, he's one of my favorite players. Manchester United always seems to does well when he's on the pitch. But today, he was a bit shaky at the start. Traore ran past him, at the start of the match. Then he did win a couple of good tackles against Traore, but then he made the mistake which resulted in the 2-on-1, which I mentioned in the video previously. Now, he went wholeheartedly for the ball, and when a centre back goes for the ball, then he has to get the ball. Lisandro obviously didn't. That resulted in that situation, so it could have been costly. But anyway, he made up for it with a goal line clearance later on in the match, which could have resulted in the goal. But overall, I have to be a little bit critical on Lisandro Martinez because he's a top class centre back. I expect a little bit more from him. I'd give him a 5.5 rating in this match. Let's move on to the left back now. Diego Dalot. what a utility player he is. Like, he can play right back, he can play as a left back. He's going, good going forward. He's solid defensively. Today, I felt like he could have done a little bit more going forward, but maybe it was the tactics. We saw Muzrawi going forward a little bit more as compared to Dalo, who was sitting back. Wasn't really too fussed about playing against Traore. He was decent. His positioning was good. His distribution was good. Didn't really try to play too many extravagant passes. Just neat, easy passes to Mainu, to Lisandro Martinez is what he was doing. He did put in a couple of good crosses, which he always does. He's got a very decent delivery on him. Overall, I would say that, he didn't set the world alight in this game, but it was a good, solid display. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Let's move on to the midfielders now. Starting off with Kobe Mainu. So Mainu just does what Mainu does. He is always neat and tidy. He's mature beyond his years. He looks like a very complete midfielder. His distribution was good. He was always there to take the ball off the defenders. He made, I think, 5 or 6 interceptions just in the first half, which is some sort of a record I was reading somewhere. So good, solid display. Obviously, once he builds up his fitness again, he will contribute even more. But to start off the season, I think he was decent. Manchester United dominated the midfield, and I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10 rating in this game. Let's move on to the second holding midfielder, which was Casemiro. Now, Casemiro, for me today, was the man of the match. This, guys, is a very different Casemiro to what we saw in the last season. Last season, from the start, I noticed that his fitness was gone. He was looking very bulky. He put on some extra weight. He was not very mobile. This season, it's a very different Casemiro. He's toned up. I think he's been working with a personal trainer, and he looks like he's come back ready. He's very, very agile, very fit. Obviously, he's not got the speed on his side now. He's not going to catch Traore on the run. Traore ran past him in the first half, and it was a complete mismatch. You don't want Casemiro to be in such situations, but he's got the experience. He's got that that ability to track people, to read the runs, and to make those interceptions. He was everywhere. If you look at his heat map today, he was literally all over the pitch. And the reason I'm saying he was the man of the match today is his contribution in the attack. Now, he made some really good passes in the final third. Couple of them to Bruno Fernandes, which should have resulted in 2 goals. Bruno missed one-on-ones from close range, both saved by Brent Leno. So he could have had 2 assists there. On top of that, from the set pieces, he was always, at the end of those crosses, he was getting his head to the ball, but didn't unfortunately manage to get it to the back of the net. But he was always there in the final third, attacking. He was there defending. Casemiro was everywhere. This was the sort of performance Casemiro used to put in a Real Madrid shirt. So I'm so pleased about this. I have big expectations from Casemiro this season, and I would say Manchester United are in the market for different faces. Ugarte's name is being mentioned, Centerberg's name is being mentioned as well. But whoever comes in, if Casemiro keeps on playing like this, they will have stiff competition on their hands. And I think this will benefit Casemiro as well if he has some cover, because at this age, he won't really be able to continue this week in, week out. He needs some rest. He needs some respite. So we need another midfield signing here, but great performance from Casemiro. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 today. Let's move on to the attackers now. We've got Amad Diallo, who's playing on the wing. Now, Amad had a decent game, but I was sort of disappointed that he didn't really take on the left back as much as I was expecting. Now, in the preseason, he was being a little bit more braver. He was being more direct. Today, he was being more circumspect. He was trying to play safe, which I understand. It's just the first game of the season. He wants to cement his place in the team, so he was being safe than sorry, I must say. But if a more natural Amad, an Amad with more license to attack, is a much better player, I would say. Wasn't a bad performance. Maybe I'm being overcritical of him. He was decent. He was neat in possession. But attacking-wise, he could have done a little bit more. I'd give him a 6 out of 10 for this game today. Moving on to Mount, who was playing in midfield today. I was really impressed. I have to say, this guy is like a new signing. He was pretty much injured all of last season. He's come back now. He's had a good preseason under his belt, and today he looked ready. He looked like a player who was desperately trying to make something happen. He was putting in a lot of effort. He was a workhorse in the center of that pitch. He was running all sorts of channels to to press and to get the ball back. I really had the feeling that Mount is basically giving a proper audition to keep his place in this team, because obviously when all the players are back, there's going to be a lot of competition in these midfield places. But today's performance will not hurt Mount. He's quality player. He will add goals and assists to his game the more he plays. But at the moment, I think he just needs to settle down. He just needs to get more minutes. And as I said, today's performance was good. Based on what we saw today, I am expecting a lot of minutes for Mount, whether from the start or from the bench this season. For this performance, I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10 today. Moving on to the left side of the attack, Rashford. So Rashford, a bit of a mixed bag for me. He did disappear a few times, in the first half. He was better in the second half, but he just looks lost at times. His attitude, I'm not really sure about him. I think there's something going on with his mind. Maybe a couple of goals would help him get over this, but can't blame Ten Hag. He's giving him the minutes, he's giving him the chances. Today he was playing ahead of Garnacho. Sancho wasn't even in the squad, so safe to say that Rashford is going to be involved. He's going to, he's that versatile player who can play on the wing, who can play in the attack, in the number 9 as well. So he's going to get minutes. He just needs to get his sort of focus back, and maybe a goal or an assist will really help him a great deal. Today, he looked a little bit short of confidence. Performance really was not good. With this sort of a performance, I would say that Garnacho is easily going to replace him in the side. Today, I would just say he was a 5.5 out of 10. I would cut him some slack towards the end due to that defensive mistake. He was one-on-one, he was through on goal. He was very, very unselfish, gave it in a play to Garnacho. I don't know how Garnacho missed from there. But anyway, credit to Rashford for not being selfish there. But I really need to see more from Rashford on the wing. And the last player, Bruno Fernandes, playing as a false 9 today. Again, it was not a proper Bruno performance because he wasn't clinical. He missed 2 chances, but he was very much involved in the game. Like, all the attacks seemed to go through him. He was getting at the end of those moves. Very unlike Bruno to miss these chances. Normally he buries them. Today, I think with both of them, he could have done much better. Just hit them straight to the keeper. But the signs are there that this guy is in the mood. I think he's just about to sign a new contract as well, and the goals will come. If he keeps on getting into these positions with the quality that he possesses, the goals will come. Even today's goal, the move was initiated by Bruno Fernandes, so you have to give him that one. The performance overall, as I said, he was very involved. I think it's a decent performance. It's a 7 out of 10 performance for me, but a couple of more goals could have made it much more comfortable and a much more pleasing on the eye result for us, so I'll give him that. Now, coming on to the substitutes, I won't really rate their performance. I'll just analyze how they did. Starting off with Garnacho. So Garnacho, when he came on, he got like 30 odd minutes. Ever so lively. Wanted to be, on the ball, wanted to make things happen. He was running at the defenders. He was aggressive. Exactly what I was mentioning Ahmad and Rashford also need to do. So Garnacho is a player that is clearly confident. He's got that thing going. He's got that aura. He comes in and he attacks, and he was playing against a very decent left back in Robinson, so it wasn't like it was not a mismatch. Robinson was going toe to toe with him, but the guy does not deter. He doesn't shy away. Even if the ball gets taken off him once or twice, he runs at the defender again. He's just relentless. I love how he plays. He managed to bag an assist as well. So Garnacho, it's just a matter of time before he lands up in the first 11. I think the manager is just building up his minutes. Maybe 1 or 2 more games, you will see him either start on the left or on the right instead of Rashford or Ahmad, but he has to start for Manchester United. Exciting times. This is going to be his big season. Next one, our new signing, Zirkzee. who obviously got the goal. Big winner, 87th minute winner in front of Stratford, and this is the stuff of dreams. Big expectations from this guy again. But I have to say, when he came in, he looked a little bit lost for the first 5 odd minutes. Couldn't really touch the ball. The game was just going around him. But then once he got a few touches, he looked a little bit more confident. He started getting involved in the game more, and even in the goal, it was a typical Zirkzee stuff, that he did. He dropped deep. He basically took the ball from Fernandez, distributed it out, then made a late run into the box, gave the finishing touch, got the goal. This is exactly what Zirkzee does. I did a whole video on Zirkzee and how he plays. If you haven't seen that one, I'll drop a link in the description section. Make sure you go and watch that to understand what sort of a player he is. So he's got a very unique skill set, a very unique ability, and he basically displayed exactly that. Again, the guy just has that aura about him, that confidence. He came in, he wanted to, he was cheering up the crowd, and then he got the goal, his trademark celebration. He's got it going, and I can see that very soon. Hopefully, in the next 3 or 4 games, he should be able to, land a spot in our, starting 11. And the way he plays, not only he will score goals, but he will make a lot of chances for people playing around him as well. Moving on to some of the substitutes, so Evans and Delete, our other new signing, came in to play the last 10 odd minutes as well. Both of them, I have to say, were very decent. Now, Evans, this role sort of suits him more, to come in the last few minutes towards the injury time or a few minutes before that and finish the games, rather than starting from the start. So Evans, with in this stage of his career, he's experienced, he can finish those games off, but you can't expect him to start every week and get the job done. Today, nevertheless, he was very decent. Delete, he was looking pumped up. He was looking to basically make the mark. He played a couple of aggressive passes, didn't really go too well, but that will come. That cohesion with the team will come when he plays more and more. But he looks really fit, and I think just like Mazraoui, he's going to be a very, very important piece in our defense this season. Just fingers crossed, both of them stay fit. These two players are going to make our defense much, much more solid than last season this time around. And lastly, Scott McTominay came in for a few minutes, had a good cameo. Again, was trying to get into those dangerous positions the way he got, last season as well, where he scored a lot of goals. But with so much competition in this Manchester United team, so many players, I think Scott McTominay is just a bit of a miss now. He is one homegrown talent which we can potentially sell, and if we can sell him for anything close to 25 million mark, that is pure profit, and I would jump onto it. So I hope that he moves on, so we can then basically invest that money into someone like Ugarte, who would be perfect for me in this midfield. As I mentioned, Casemiro and Mainu have got this partnership going. They look like a settled pair, but we need a similar sort of player who can replace Casemiro going forward, as well as this season when Casemiro needs a break. And Ugarte would be perfect. He's one of those defensive-minded midfielders. He's an all-action midfielder. He's the one who breaks up play, who wins the ball back. A ball winner is basically what we need. We don't want players who are decent on the ball. There's a lot of people talking about Zubimendi, but he's definitely not the type of player that we need. We need ball winners. We need someone who can press relentlessly, who is, a workhorse, a runner in that midfield. We need legs in that midfield. We got ran past too easily last season. We can't afford it again this season. So Garte, as long as he is in there, I think he can do a decent job. He can win the ball back for us, and then he can just play simple passes to the likes of Menu, to Fernandez, to Zirkzee, or even back pass to Alessandro Martinez. All of these other players are very, very decent, ball players. They really are comfortable on the ball. So we don't really need to play off the back. We can sort of play the Manchester United way, where we can win the ball, spread out to our wingers, and then generate attacks from there. Or we've got sort of a different player in Zirkzee now who can drop deep and then basically give that license to the wingers to bomb forward. So that's what my take is. My number one target, and I'm pretty sure Manchester United's number one target is Ugarte. Centerberg will just be basically a fill in the blank for me. He would be sort of I won't rate him better than McTominay. He will do the job, but he won't take us to the next level. So all the signs are there. Ugarte wants to come to Manchester United. His agent is basically George Mendes, the super agent. He's pushing for a move. Manchester United and PSG both want to do the deal. There's Sancho who's looking to go the other way as well. So all in all, I would say there is a high likelihood that we will land our number one target, that is Ugarte, either on loan with an obligation to buy or on a permanent basis. So fingers crossed. I can't wait for Ugarte to come in, but great start to the new season for Manchester United. I hope we keep it going, get a string of victories nice and early in this season, because this is going to be ever so close. It's going to be ever so competitive. I would say even the Europa League spots are up for grabs. There are so many teams. There's the likes of Arsenal and City and Liverpool who'll be challenging for the title. Then there is Newcastle and Tottenham, Aston Villa, even West Ham. All these teams will be challenging for the European spots. So it's going to be no easy deal. I'm forgetting Chelsea with the squad of 50 odd players that they've got. They'll be in the mix as well. So I'd say I don't know where we're going to land. I hope that we can find a place in the Champions League places in the top four. If that happens, that will be remarkable. If not, at least fifth or sixth position, we should be able to grasp that. That'll be a clear improvement on last season where we managed to only finish 8th. So anything better than that, I'll take it. But my expectation is that Manchester United should be in the top 4 this season. So let me know in the comment section if you agree with me or not. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until the next video,